Okay, gotcha. Okay, Sam, can you introduce yourself and just kind of tell us a little bit about you?
Hi, my name is Sam Cummings. I am managing partner of CWD Real Estate Investment in Grand Rapids, Michigan. We are a real estate investment and property management company, and I've been doing this for almost 30 years. In addition, I do a lot of non-dollar producing activities. I volunteer and serve in some executive roles. I'm on the board of a local or regional brewing company, as well as a motorcycle manufacturing company. And yeah.
Cool. So, you and I have worked together for a while. Um, can you tell me a little bit about how long you and I have been working together and why you originally sought to kind of
So I've been working with Dr. Royer and Amy and Adam, for 10 years, I think. 10 years or more. And a friend and introduced me to Dr. Royer. And at the time, I was having a lot of uh, anxiety issues. I mean, I was um, very sort of hyper. I was having difficulty focusing as a result of that, and I was introduced, and it was extremely interesting to me to see how that condition manifested itself on the screen. And the way Dr. Royer put it to me back then was that you're sitting at your desk and you're performing these tasks and you're doing a pretty good job at it, but your brain has you running from a tiger 24 hours a day. And that was super interesting to me. And almost without interruption, ever since then, I have been taking good care of my brain, training my brain weekly or every other week since. And I've gone from running from a tiger to actually recording some pretty extraordinary calm focus numbers on that screen. And I'm a little bit of a competitive guy, so it's cool because I'm able to actually set goals for my level of calm focus, and if I don't hit them on a weekly basis, it's kind of an off week. And but what's super interesting is I can actually see it and feel it in my work, and it's by checking in frequently and doing it frequently, I can very take hold and ownership of the relationship between how well I'm sleeping and doing things, how well I'm sort of taking care of my body and my brain, and how it manifests itself in the numbers. So,
apart from work, do you see what you've done in the brain training impact other areas of your life, and how would you say that has impacted that, if you have?
yeah, I mean, I think it's all over. I mean, part of it is, you know, it it's given me the tools to be able to reset myself when something might trigger me. I also can be. I have a little bit of obsessive compulsive, and I like things to be orderly. And there are certain things that can visually trigger me, and being able to recognize what those are and just, I call it breathing through it, right? And it makes me a better husband because my wife is awesome and she's a great compliment to me, but there are certain things she does that are a great compliment to me that can trigger me. And it's fantastic, but yeah, But so that's one thing, and the other thing is it's not me personally, but also my son. So my son is 14, and he has been a patient client of Dr. Royer for 10 years too, and he has a little autism, and it has been it has been incredible for him. I mean, it's something he looks forward to, and together with his schooling and my wife's gentle hand, Dr. Royer and Amy and Adam have really been an important part of who he has become. And similarly, his numbers were very much like mine when we started. I mean, he was. You've seen one autistic person, you've seen one, right? They don't all fit into a box, but a lot of them can have anxieties because what they're trying to do is they want to achieve like you and I. They want to think like you and I. They want to be accepted like you and I. But sometimes they have difficulty expressing that or getting it out, and that causes them some anxiety. And teaching my son at an early age how to manage that through breathing and calming has really been incredible, not only for him as a person and a family member, but also how he approaches his schoolwork, etc. And now he also is a little competitive, and he gets very focused on making sure his numbers are good every week. He also likes to brag to his dad when he beats his dad's numbers.
That's great.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So, can you speak to me specifically about breathing, and can you just kind of give me an example of where you maybe use breathing in a stressful situation, or kind of think of a situation where you might have used breathing?
So I use breathing, my knowledge of how it can reset me, almost daily, but especially sometimes my work or parts of my work can create very sometimes adversarial situations. We field a lot of complaints sometimes. And sometimes, I refer to it on my team as we are the jackass in the hailstorm. The world's an imperfect place. Things in real estate break, and you never know what's going on in people's world. They may have a bad day, and the fact that the toilet overflowed, or a drainage pipe in a HVAC condenser plugged and it dripped on the floor is the last thing that triggers them, and they yell. So a lot of times when I'm dealing with situations like that, when fielding a complaint or dealing with a tough situation that might otherwise elevate me emotionally, because elevating emotionally usually robs you of the ability to make good decisions. So I will pause, and sometimes I will even excuse myself and go to the restroom and just breathe and just reset my brain and try to remove the emotion from the situation and get a clear platform for making a good decision on how to address the situation.
Fantastic. Very good. Can you describe for me, because I don't think many people distinguish this, okay? Can you describe for me the difference between a stress focus and a calm focus, and how you've learned to maybe obtain more of a calm focus over time?
So the difference between a stress focus and a calm focus. First, I mean, there are a couple of things. One of the things I've learned is that, for me, and again, this is just an individual, in order to achieve calm focus, I also need to, control my environment as much as I can. But if I can't control my environment, I also will lean on my breathing tools to help me control as much of it as possible. But a calm focus is really productivity, right? And it's something, I try to visualize in my head when I need calm focus. Like, say, for instance, say I've got 3 hours left in the day, and my panic, and I've got in my mind, I think, 6 hours of things to do. If I approach that frenetically, I won't get any of it done. So it's it's important that I approach that with calm focus. So I've got to tick off those things. I've got to be able to categorize what is urgent and what's important, and be able to get in that zone. So I will take a moment and breathe, kind of clear my desk and prioritize, and then attack.
Do you sense that when you're in that calm focus that mirrors anything that you've seen in your brain training?
100%. So what I've been able to do through training is actually be able to link with, calm focus is be able to see what that looks like on the screen. And so I also understand what that feels like when I see it on the screen, and that's what I try to achieve in order to be the most efficient at getting through my list and getting through the things that are most important.
Fantastic. 2 more things. Change, we're going to talk about change. Change is inevitable, okay? And so for a lot of people, change can be seen very negatively. How has the training allowed you to see change? Especially, I know you like things kind of in routine, but how has the training allowed you to kind of make change a positive thing for you, or to be able to adapt to change?
So change, I try to put them in 2 different categories. So I don't like surprises. So there are surprises and there is change. And I think, surprises are those things that that you have absolutely no control over, or you have an expectation and it comes in different than an expectation. So I guess part of what I try to do is whenever I am faced with a situation that is change, it's the same routine, right? First, I recognize that change is part of life, right? So going into solving a problem or whatever, I try to run through the scenarios that might happen, that would be changes. So even if they occur, they're not surprises. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And that together with being able to, again, I don't want to be repetitive, but again, it's the same routine. If a change happens that I was not yet entirely prepared for, which happens in business and in life, my first line of defense is to recognize that I am going to respond best to it if I put my mental attitude and my decision-making ability in the best possible condition to respond to it. So that involves calming myself down, and it goes back to the breathing. It's just how do you make yourself as best, or equip yourself as best as possible to respond to the exterior stimuli. And it's about as simple as that.
So what would you say to the person who says, I mean, it sounds like you're just saying that, like, breathing is like the base of this, and that just seems so simple. You know, is it that simple?
It's like, I think it's with practice, it's simple. It's not. It's like anything, right? Again, I have a son who's autistic, which means that a lot of things that are natural to you and I are learned behaviors for him. I think it might have even been Dr. Royer. I think it might that said that learning. I can't remember who gave me this analogy, but it's one I use all the time. It's like interacting socially to my son is like learning how to play an instrument. Learning how to breathe and learning how to best utilize this tool, because I actually refer to it as a tool I have. It's a developed tool, and learning how to do it best is best done with practice. And I'll even expand on that. It's you could call it a workout. You could call it as important as taking care of your body, but it also, frankly, it's something that I look forward to every week, because it's an hour I've got to myself, and it's an hour I've got to actually refocus and reset. And it's been a really, really important part of my weekly routine.
Perfect. Last one. What does it mean to you to have an inner armor?
To have an inner armor, to me, is just it's a fully I don't want to say it's fully developed. It's a developing and developing skill or developing tool to be my best person, be my best self. So it's not only it's being my best self professionally. How do I bring all of the assets I have to every decision, and be as prepared as possible to use, everything, all my experience to bring to daily decision making, right? So yeah, if you had the opportunity to unleash the best possible scenario for bringing calm focus to which really means digging deep and bringing all of your experience to bear on any one decision at any given time. I mean, why wouldn't you do that? But the term inner armor is kind of like it goes back to those surprises, right? I mean, who as a business person or whatever doesn't have surprises? You want to plan for all of them, but also you aren't. The world is an imperfect place, right? So it's always going to change, and you've got to be ready for them. And nobody has every experience that's relevant to every decision that they're going to make, but being able to bring your best self, bring the best calm focus to every decision you have to make throughout the day is critical, and that's my inner armor.